And so I'm going to show you an example buyer persona, and there's going to be way too much detail here for me to cover in the amount of time we have together. But I just want you to understand what's really involved in a buyer persona and how much detail you can get out of it. So we built this example buyer persona, and this is Amanda. Have you guys met Amanda? You guys might have one in your company. You might even be this person. Amanda's role, she's the digital marketing manager. Anybody digital marketing manager here? And or she works in an agency. We have any marketing agency people in the room? And her job right now, what we want to market to her is we want to market an email marketing solution. She works in a business-to-business company. She reports to the VP of marketing or agency owner. And we've got some little education information here. Now, what you see across the top are the 6 slides we're going to look at for Amanda's buyer persona. And what you'll see here, right now we're looking at her profile, and it tells us her responsibilities, and it tells us how she's evaluated, and it tells us about the information sources that she's going to trust as she goes out looking for an email marketing solution. Okay, so this is like the cover sheet for the buyer persona. It's not the whole buyer persona. It's just really the least valuable part of the buyer persona. And where we're really going to see value in this buyer is when we get into the 5 rings of buying insight that you see across the top. But when we interview buyers who have recently made the buying decision that you want to influence, they're going to give us the exact quotes that I'm going to show you on these slides. Let's look at one. So this slide, and these are quotes from 5 different interviews. We went out and interviewed people like Amanda who work in an agency or who work in-house in a company who were looking for an email marketing solution to find out what business conditions trigger their search for an email marketing solution. There's really 2 different answers. One is they've got a new requirement. It's an agency. Amanda works in an agency. And she says, we're going after a new kind of customer and we need a new kind of email marketing solution. Or we found out that for the in-house marketer, it's like all of a sudden our real focus is on digital marketing. And what we're capturing here is quotes. So let me blow one of those up so you can read it. So what we look for, this is the agency marketer, agency version of Amanda. And she says, we're looking for a solution to be better fit for the leads we're getting with small to medium-sized businesses. So up until now, our agency's really been focused on large companies, and now we're seeing small companies, and they can't make the investment and the upfront cost to install a really sophisticated solution, so we want something simpler. We kind of get some insight into Amanda's state of mind at the moment where she's looking for our email marketing solution. And that's what the Priority Initiative Insight tells us. Then we go to the success factors, and we get a few more headlines about the benefits that Amanda expects to derive from getting this new email marketing solution. We've got 3 answers that we know would impress Amanda, regardless of whether she's in an agency or whether she's an in-house marketer. And we've got 1 that would only impress the agency version of Amanda. Now let's go to perceived barriers. This is the bad news insight. In order to build the trust with the buyer, and to have them get over their fear and their concerns about doing business with us, we need to know what stands in the way of their decision to choose us, and we need to take that on in our content and in our messaging. And so this is giving me those answers. And you'll see here that really the barriers to choosing an email marketing solution were consistent regardless of whether Amanda works in-house or for an agency. She's got some serious barriers about this. Here's an example. I should be able to import my list into my new email solution without having to ask everybody to opt in again. Anybody been through this experience? Do we want to send out, we just want a new email marketing solution and now everybody has to re-opt in? I think it's impolite and rude to ask people to go through that process again. So we really capture sort of the emotion around how Amanda feels about this. And now what we know the question we need to answer is, if Amanda goes with our email marketing solution, how are we going to avoid this problem for her? How are we going to help her overcome this issue? She's worried about this, and she may not even consider us or may just stay with the status quo solution, even though we've got all these benefits to offer her because we haven't answered this question. Then we get the same kind of information around decision criteria. How many people in here have a solution where if I go to your website, it says it's easy to use? Raise your hand. Is your solution easy to use? Yes? Of course. This is a checkbox item. It all says this. We write it on our website. Our solution's easy to use. And of course, your buyer, having read those words, goes, oh, great, I was really worried about that. Now I know I want to buy the solution because it's easy to use. I don't think so, right? So what we want to find out from your buyer is what are their concerns about ease of use, so that we can build content that addresses their questions around ease of use. Like a question might be, how much training do I have to deliver before it's easy to use? Or for whom is it meant to be easy to use? Or what do I have to, how many manuals do I have to read before it's easy to use? So what we're going to find out when you interview your buyers or when we interview them for you is we're going to find out the exact questions your buyers are asking about your solution and your competitor's solution so that you can answer those in your content. And this just gives us the headlines plus the quotes. And what you'll see here is that there's one question, one aspect of the buyer's decision criteria that's specific to the agency only. So the agency version of Amanda is worried that it needs to integrate with a wide range of CRM and web platforms because they're installing this for a lot of different clients. If you're in an in-house environment, it's just, does it work with my environment? So the wide range wouldn't resonate with all the buyers. It would just resonate with some. And then finally, what's the buyer's journey? And this tells us, through direct quotes with the buyer, what Amanda's role is in the buying decision, and if she has to get sign-off from her boss or if there's a team involved in the decision, it tells us what those people's influence might be. So this starts to get into, are there other buyer personas involved? What we find out here is in the agency, even though the client is spending the money on the email marketing solution, in fact, the client is deferring the decision to Amanda. They're saying, you know what, Amanda, I trust you. You're my agency. You tell me which one to go with. Whereas with in-house, there's a team. It's a bigger company, and there's a team of people in-house involved, and still Amanda's the decision maker.